What we're going to do now is solve and graph inequalities. Part one, we were looking at writing inequalities and solving them. Here we're going to solve and we're going to graph the inequalities. What we have is x is greater than, in this case, and let's just say it's greater than 0. Then that means that we would have 0 with an open circle. Open circle means that it is greater than 0. It does not include 0. So all the numbers greater than 0 would be 1 and 2 and 3. Now, greater than or equal to, and let's just say the number is 0, would mean that it includes the value of 0 and everything greater than it. 1, 2, 3. Less than means, let's say if we're solving for 0 again, all the values less than 0 would be -1, -2, -3. Notice that we're not including the 0. It's everything less than 0, not 0. So it's an open circle. Now, less than or equal to, notice that if it's 0 that we're talking about, it would be all the values less than 0. This right here we call a closed circle. So closed means that we actually include the 0. Whenever it's less than or equal to, this line right here means that it's going to be filled in. Notice that when there's no line, it's not filled in. So for example, we're going to solve each inequality and we're going to graph it on a number line. So for the first one, we're subtracting the 4, and that gives us 3x is less than 3. We divide it by 3, and we get x is less than 1. So that right there is our answer. Now what we're going to do is we're going to graph it on the number line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 in the middle. I'm going to put a open circle. Open circle because we're not including the value, and since it's less than, it's going to be to the left. Now for the next one, I'm going to add the 4. And when I add the 4, I get -2x is less than 14. I divide it by -2. And when I divide it by -2, I get x by itself. Remember, I'm switching the inequality to greater than, and it becomes -7. Now, just in case you forgot, if we have two numbers like 2 and 10, we know 10 is greater. If we were to divide it by -2, that would be -1 and -5. Now -1 is greater. So whenever we multiply or divide by a negative, what happens is the values actually switch. So we have the -7. We have an open circle. Since it's greater than, it's going to the right. For letter C, I'm going to distribute the 2 to each of the terms. 2x minus 14. I'm going to distribute the 3 to each of the terms. That gives us 12x plus 3. I like the x's to be on the left-hand side when I'm solving for inequalities, so I'm going to subtract the 12x. And that gives me -10x minus 14 is greater than 3. I'm going to add the 14. I get -10x is greater than 17. I divide it by -10. Once again, when I divide by a negative, the inequality switches. So I get x is less than -17 over 10. So I'm going to put -17 over 10. This is going to be an open circle because it's not equal to, and since it's less than, it's going to go to the left. Now, one of the reasons that I like to have the x on the left-hand side is because it gives me a hint of which way the line is going to go. Notice that the arrow is pointing to the left. My line is to the left. Notice my arrow is to the right, so my line is to the right. And notice my arrow is to the left, so it goes to the left. This only happens when the x is on the left-hand side. If we were to switch it, then it would not give us the same answer. So these problems are a little bit more difficult now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 6 to each of the terms. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 divided by 3 gives me a 4. So that's 4x. 6 times 2 is 12. Then 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to combine the like terms. It gives me 4x minus 16 greater than or equal to 2x plus 10. I'm going to subtract the 2x. I'm trying to get the x on one side. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 16. And I get 2x is greater than or equal to 26. Now when I divide by 2, I get x is greater than or equal to 13. So that right there is the answer. Now when we're graphing it on the number line, I'm going to put 13 in the middle. I'm putting a closed circle. Once again, why it's a closed circle is because there's a line underneath. And since it's greater than, I am going to have it go to the right. For the next one, I'm going to distribute the negative to each of the terms. So 3x minus x plus 7. I have 9, and I distribute the negative 4. So that gives me negative 12 plus 4x. Combine the like terms. That gives me 2x plus 7. Combine the like terms. That gives me negative 3 plus 4x. Once again, I like my x on the left-hand side when I'm solving inequalities, so I'm going to subtract the 4x. Negative 2x plus 7, less than or equal to negative 3. I subtract the 7. I get negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 10. I divide it by negative 2. Once again, whenever I divide by a negative, it flips the inequality, so now it is greater than or equal to 5. So I have 5 in the middle. It's a closed circle. Once again, why it's a closed circle is because there's a line underneath the inequality that includes it. So this is greater than or equal to, and then greater than values go to the right.